moving on, Women and Child Development Minister Maneka Gandhi has reignited the debate on the treatment of juveniles in cases of serious crimes. She said that individuals charged with crimes such as rape or murder should be tried as adults. Maneka supported a move to reduce the age bar from 18 to 16 years in cases of premeditated offences. This is what the minister had to say.
Changing the law to, in fact, I'm working on it personally, and I will see that it is changed to bring 16-year-olds into the purview, because according to the police, 50% of all sexual crimes are 16-year-olds who know the JJ Act, Juvenile Justice Act, so they can do it. But now if we, for premeditated murder, for rape, if we bring them into the purview of the adult world, then it will scare them.
Right, Kamaljeet Kaur Sandhu still live with us. Kamaljeet, this again is going to be a sticky issue. The issue of juvenile justice has been something that has been raked up, especially after the 16 December gang rape case. In that particular case, the Juvenile Justice Board, in fact, giving the juvenile accused in that case just 3 years in a reformatory home. So clearly the law was shifted from being a penal law to a reformatory law, and now the current government looking to make a U-turn on that as well.
Well, definitely we saw India was outraged at that very incident of rape, and obviously a new rape bill, a new sexual assault bill was brought in just last assembly, last time in Parliament. But remember, what is really important is there was a thorough debate even then whether the age should be made from 16 to 18. But at that time, a lot of child rights activists had come forward and said that 18 should be the...
request you to hold that thought. I am being joined at this point in time by Badrinath, who is in fact the father of Nirbhaya. Badri जी, हमसे बात करने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. आपसे ये जानना चाहती हूँ कि मेनका गांधी ने अभी आकर ये बोला है कि जुवेनाइल की जो एज है वो 18 से 16 होनी चाहिए थी. आप क्या सोचते हैं इस बारे में, क्योंकि ये एक चीज़ है जो आपने भी बहुत, इस चीज़ के लिए आपने भी बहुत संघर्ष किया है, बहुत लड़ाई की है.
हाँ, ये तो देखिए, मैं बहुत इस बात से खुश हूँ कि कम से कम किसी नेता ने तो इस तरह का अपना स्टेप उठाया है जी. तो मैं बहुत खुश हूँ कि चलो कम से कम किसी की सोच में आया कि नहीं बदलना चाहिए. तो हम तो पहले से ही चाहते हैं कि जुवेनाइल जितने भी हैं इनका क्राइम बढ़ता जा रहा है, इनको रोकने के लिए उनकी उम्र घटाना जरूरी है. वो जैसा क्राइम करते हैं उनको वैसे ही सजा देनी जरूरी है. तो हम इस बात से सहमत हैं उनके इस विचार से, और मैं चाहूँगा कि उनसे रिक्वेस्ट भी करूँगा कि इस कानून को जल्दी से जल्दी लागू करें, जिससे आने वाले समय में औरतों को और लड़कियों को सुरक्षा दी जा सके.
लेकिन बद्री जी, क्या आपको लगता है कि 16 दिसंबर के बाद एक नया लॉ लाया गया था, बहुत सारी चीजें जो है बदली गई थी, लेकिन अब फिर जो है हम उसी पॉइंट पर वापस आते हैं, चर्चा होती है लेकिन अल्टीमेटली कुछ होता नहीं है इस बारे में?
हाँ, दुख तो इसी बात का है, लेकिन आज चर्चा होगी तो कल जरूर कोई ना कोई उसमें समाधान निकलेगा. चर्चा तो सबसे जरूरी है, चर्चा होगा तभी उसका ना समाधान होगा. तो हम इस बात से सहमत हैं, और मैं चाहता हूं कि नए जुवेनाइलों की उम्र घटाई जाए. तो जैसा करते हैं क्राइम वैसा ही उनको सजा दी जाए जी. उनका इस बयान का मैं स्वागत करता हूं.
Ji, that was the father of Nirbhaya, Badrinath, in fact speaking with us. He clearly says that he welcomes the fact that this is a debate that in fact needs to be reignited. This is a cause that he and his entire family have fought for. And remember, it was the 16 December Delhi gang rape that had led to a lot of churning, had led to society come to a tipping point where rape laws were in fact amended. And of course, this move by the Women and Child Development Minister definitely being seen as a huge positive. We're also being joined at this point in time by Shaina NC. Shaina, I'd just like to ask you, this is a very welcome step seen by many, but also there are many child rights activists who believe that in fact transforming the law from a penal law to a reformatory law was the need of the hour, and perhaps reducing the age limit is not really a solution.
I think it absolutely is. If a 16-year-old can commit such a heinous crime, and if we have juveniles not treated as adults, they will completely get away scot-free.
Right.
Now, the bold step taken by Maneka Gandhi is bound to have a certain kind of reaction where people will want to have this juvenile debate restarted, which we're welcome to. But the punishment has to be in accordance to the crime. And if a 16-year-old can rape brutally to the point of murder, why should the juvenile be able to get away scot-free? And if we talk about fear of law and implementing a certain system in place, it has to be done where changing times, changing amendments, and to change the age of a culprit who has committed a heinous crime, I think is only the beginning of such a debate.
Right, Shaina, also I'd like to ask you, what is going to be the strategy of the Bharatiya Janata Party at this point in time? Are you going to move for another amendment in the Juvenile Justice Act? What is the strategy of the government to in fact deal with this?
I'm sure Mrs. Maneka Gandhi has thought about this very intently and intensively, and she has come up with this suggestion only after keeping in mind that the amendments which need to be made in the Juvenile Justice Act happen through Parliament, but the pros and cons need to be viewed, debated, which have been done on multiple forums. Now it's for Parliament to enact it. So
is the government at this point in time considering repealing and reenacting the Juvenile Justice Act of 2000?
Absolutely.
So that is something that is definitely going to be on the cards. And is the government also looking to perhaps make that move in this session of Parliament itself?
Well, that's for the minister to answer, but I think that the imperative thing here is that day after day we see perpetrators getting away scot-free, juveniles who are in the brackets of 16 to 18 committing such heinous crimes and only getting away because they have this loophole in the system and in the law. And that has to come to an end.
Shaina NC, leader of the BJP, thanks for joining us with that. We are also joined at this point in time by Meenakshi Ganguly, who is in fact a lawyer. Ms. Ganguly, I'd just like to ask you, how easy or difficult is it to transform a law which was already transformed from a penal law to a reformative law, given the fact that this is a child protection law, this is a law that is looking to reform juveniles, but clearly the current government trying to incorporate the notion of premeditated crimes, trying to bring down the age limit from 18 to 16. How do you think this is logically going to be taken forth?
Just to correct you, my name is Meenakshi Ganguly and I work with Haq Center for Child Rights and I'm not a lawyer. But I am very, very distressed, to say the least, to hear Mrs. Maneka Gandhi's statement, because she was the one who brought in this wonderful law in the country. She was the one who brought in the Juvenile Justice Act that made sure that it was a reform measure, that it was about restorative justice for children. Just to get I think the statistics needs to be very clear. Between 2013 and 2012, NCRB will show you that the rate of rapes by juveniles has actually gone down. So I don't know where this information is coming from, that, these 16 to 18-year-olds are committing these heinous offenses. How do we define heinous offenses? This is not defined in any, in fact, Justice Altamas Kabir in his judgment in July last year had also asked this question. And despite two very important Supreme Court judgments by two very different judges, that the law at the moment should not be changed, and what the country must actually concentrate on is on the implementation. That this present government should have hurried to change the law is something that is really extremely distressing. We haven't yet implemented the entire law in its current, in the spirit and the philosophy that it was. It hasn't even got the budget that it has. That is required.
But I'd just like to ask.
Can I just complete? How are we deciding that this law needs to be changed immediately? Secondly, tomorrow, if the rate of crime, whatever we assume is a rate of crime, or what we assume is heinous, goes down to 12 or 13 or 10, are we going to reduce the age to 10, 12, 13? So there is no end to this. There is enough scientific data to show that the 16 to 18s need to be treated as children with reform measures, with the best psychosocial therapy, psychosocial support.
Okay, let me just bring in at this point in time Jayanti, who is in fact a psychologist, who's joining us live on this story. Jayanti, we are talking about the fact that juveniles in fact don't need a penal law but need the current reformative law. They need the psychosocial support to in fact reform and change so that they can, you know, come out into society as changed individuals, do not necessarily deserve the harshest punishment. Do you think that bringing down the age from 18 to 16 is perhaps going to impact crime in a big way? Also, given the fact that, you know, maturity, the age of maturity at this point in time, you know, in current times, whether it's 16 or 18, doesn't really make that much of a difference.
First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Maneka Gandhi.
Right.
For once, we have a minister who understands what she's talking about.
Right.
Now, raising the issue of incidences and how come the perpetrator's age has gone down, please, for heaven's sake, you don't have to go to the statistics. Open your daily newspaper and you will see.
Right.
Ever since the Damini case, globally it is accepted. You want to treat the juveniles, please go ahead. You want to give them psychosocial support, go ahead. I'm a clinical psychologist. I teach. I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Give them, but provided if you have the opportunity, for heaven's sake, look at the crime. If a juvenile is committing a heinous crime which is of an adult level, why would you not take into cognizance before giving the punishment the kind of crime it has been done and the modus operandi? Who understand criminal psychology, I think it's high time you should consult them. And this is a very welcome decision. You know, in UK, 7 years is the age when you take the cognizance of a child if the child has committed that kind of a crime.
Right.
So why would we not go down? It's high time we have a deterrent, because the day 15th was the day when Damini case occurred. 16th morning I announced it on various channels that if you don't come out with a deterrent punishment, this is what is going to be. It's going to be an epidemic. And you see 10 years old, 11 years old, if they understand what rape is, why would you not deal with them in the same manner?
Well, Meenakshi Ganguly and Jayanti, appreciate you joining us with your points of view. There, of course, are divergent points of view on this very contentious issue. Whether or not lowering the age from 18 to 16 is actually going to serve as a deterrent, whether or not transforming the law again from a reformative law to a penal law will in fact help reduce the rate of crime is, of course, a question that remains to be answered. With that.